We don't break the curse, we rewrite the future. The wind howled across Thaloryn's jagged highlands, a banshee's wail laced with the metallic tang of ionized dust. Above, the sky burned with ribbons of emerald light, coiling like serpents against the stars. Ethan Carver crouched beside a sputtering survey drone, its hull scarred from the planet's relentless storms. His breath fogged the visor of his suit, the cold biting at his fingers despite the thermal weave. The air smelled of scorched circuits and something sweeter, like sap from the glowing trees dotting the valley below. "Hold together, you stubborn pile of bolts," Ethan muttered, his voice sharp but steady. He adjusted his data glasses, the lenses flickering with diagnostics. The drone's core was fritzing again, its sensors overwhelmed by Thaloryn's magnetic chaos. He closed his eyes, focusing. A faint hum stirred in his mind, like a distant engine. His hyperlink gene kicked in, a rare mutation letting his brain sync with tech. Data streamed through his thoughts, code fragments, error logs, power spikes. His eyes glowed briefly, a flash of silver in the dark, and a sharp pain lanced his temples. "Come on," he growled, pushing through the ache. The drone whirred back to life, lights blinking green. Ethan exhaled, but the relief vanished fast. Blood trickled from his nose, warm against his chilled skin. He wiped it away, cursing under his breath. The hyperlink was a gift, sure, but it came with a price: 10 minutes max, before his brain started frying. He'd hit maybe 3 just now. A sudden ping cut through the wind's roar. His wrist comm buzzed. Oracle 7's synthetic voice crisp in his ear. "Anomaly detected, Dr. Carver. Coordinates to clicks east. Distress signal. Unknown origin." Ethan's gut tightened. "A ship?" he asked, scanning the horizon. The highlands were a graveyard of wrecks, but a fresh signal was rare, unconfirmed. Oracle 7 replied, "Signal strength suggests recent activity. Recommend immediate investigation." He stood, the storm's dust stinging his exposed cheeks. His suit's servos hummed as he moved, boots crunching on crystalline gravel. The drone hovered behind, its lights casting jagged shadows. Ethan's hand brushed the pulse knife at his hip, a reflex from years he didn't talk about. Not a scientist's habit, but a soldier's. He'd left that life behind, or so he thought. The trek took him to a ravine, where twisted metal gleamed under the auroras. A ship, or what was left of it, lay half buried in glowing sand. Sparks hissed from its hull, the air thick with the reek of burnt alloy. Ethan's data glasses scanned the wreck, flagging no life signs. Yet something felt off, a prickle at the back of his neck, like eyes watching from the dark. Then he heard it, a faint cry, soft as a whisper, nearly drowned by the storm. His pulse quickened. He clambered over debris, shoving aside a shattered panel. There, curled in the wreckage, was a girl, no older than 5. Her silver skin shimmered faintly, her sapphire eyes wide with fear. Strands of pale hair clung to her face, and her breath came in shallow gasps. "Hey, it's okay," Ethan said, kneeling. His voice softened, the edge gone. "I'm here to help." He reached out, slow and careful. The moment his fingers touched her arm, a jolt shot through him. His vision flared white, data flooding his mind, fractured images, star charts, something vast and pulsing. His eyes burned, glowing brighter than before. Blood dripped faster from his nose, staining his glove. The girl's eyes locked on his, unblinking, as if she saw the chaos in his head. Around them, the wreck's lights flickered wildly. The drone screeched, spinning out of control before crashing nearby. Oracle 7's voice crackled. "Warning, biocode detected in your system, Dr. Carver. Unidentified neural signature. Source, proximate." Ethan pulled back, heart pounding. The girl didn't move, but her gaze held him like gravity. Biocode? His hyperlink had never triggered like this. He wiped the blood away, forcing calm. "What's your name, kid?" he asked, voice rough but kind. She didn't answer, only pointed at the shadows. Ethan turned, his pulse knife humming to life. Nothing but darkness and dust. Yet for a split second, he swore he saw twin red glints, like eyes, vanish into the storm. A low hum lingered in the air, not the wind, but something alive, watching. "Oracle, get a med pod ready," Ethan said, scooping the girl into his arms. She was light, trembling, but her eyes never left his face. As he carried her toward the Statio station, the auroras above twisted, their light pulsing in time with his racing heart. Something had started here, something bigger than a wrecked ship, and whatever it wasn't letting go. The station's airlock hissed shut behind Ethan, sealing out Thaloryn's howling storm. Inside, the hum of machinery filled the air, a steady pulse beneath the faint buzz of overhead lights. The scent of recycled air mixed with synthetic coffee, sharp and bitter, lingering in the sterile corridors. Ethan carried the silver-skinned girl, her sapphire eyes fixed on him, unblinking. Her weight was slight, but her gaze felt heavy, like she could see straight through his weathered exterior to the doubts churning inside. "Oracle 7. Status on that med pod," Ethan called, his boots clanging on the metal floor. His voice echoed, rough from the cold. He adjusted his grip, careful not to jostle the girl. Blood still crusted his upper lip from the hyperlink surge, a reminder of whatever had happened out there. "Med pod operational, Dr. Carver," Oracle 7's smooth voice replied, its tone clipped and precise. "Biocode analysis ongoing. Subjects vitals stable, but anomalies detected. Recommend quarantine protocols." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She's a kid, not a lab sample," he snapped, stepping into the medbay. The room glowed soft blue, panels pulsing with data. He set the girl on a cushioned pod, its surface warm against his gloved hands. She didn't flinch as scanners hummed over her, casting shadows across her delicate features. "Just patch her up, all right." The pod's lights flickered, and Ethan's data glasses pinged. A scan report flashed, elevated neural activity, traces of unknown energy signatures. "Biocode," Oracle had called it. His hyperlink genes stirred faintly, a prickle in his skull. But he pushed it down. No more nosebleeds today. 7 days later, the girl still silent, still watching, was out of quarantine. Ethan sat in the station's common room, a stark space with steel walls and a viewport framing Thaloryn's auroras. He sipped coffee, its burn grounding him, while scribbling notes on a battered tablet. The girl, curled in a chair nearby, traced patterns on a blank screen, her fingers leaving faint glows that faded like dying stars. A chime broke the quiet. Oracle 7's voice cut in. "Dr. Carver, visitor at airlock. Identity, unverified. Thaloryn native. Female, requesting immediate entry." Ethan frowned, setting his mug down with a clink. "Show me," he said. A holo feed flickered to life, revealing a woman outside. Her silver skin shimmered under the storm's light, her black hair flowing like liquid night. Her eyes, deep violet, held a sharpness that made Ethan's instincts flare, the same instincts that had kept him alive. In darker days, he opened the airlock, and she stepped inside, her presence filling the room like a sudden drop in pressure. Her robe, woven with glowing threads, hummed softly, a sound Ethan couldn't place. "I'm Selene," she said, her voice low, resonant, like a melody just out of reach. "The girl's mother. You've triggered Thaloryn law, human. By saving her, you're her guardian now." Ethan blinked, his coffee forgotten. "Guardian?" he echoed, leaning against the table. His tone was dry, skeptical. "Lady, I'm a biologist, not a babysitter." Selene's lips twitched, not quite a smile. Law is law. And there's more. She stepped closer, her gaze piercing. I claim her back. But to stay on Thaloryn, we must bind. A marriage pact. Refuse. And we're both exiled. You lose your research. Everything. The words hit like a pulse blast. Ethan's fingers tightened on the table's edge. The metal cool under his skin. Marriage, he said, voice rising. You're joking, right? I don't joke, Selene replied, folding her arms. Her rosum grew louder, vibrating in his bones. Before he could argue, she offered her hand. A formal gesture. Ethan hesitated, then gripped it, his calloused palm meeting her smooth one. The hyperlink flared instantly. Pain stabbed his temples, his eyes glowing silver. Lights flickered wildly, consoles sparking. Blood trickled from his nose again, and he yanked his hand back, swearing under his breath. Selene stared, her violet eyes wide, but not with fear, something closer to recognition. What was that? Ethan demanded, wiping his face. His heart raced, the prickle in his skull lingering. Selene didn't answer. Instead, she knelt by the girl, brushing her hair gently. The child leaned into her, silent but calm. Then Selene stood, facing Ethan. We dine tonight, she said, her tone firm, a Thaloryn custom. You'll join us. As she spoke, she placed her hand on a plate of synth food, her fingers glowing faintly. A soft hum filled the air, her rural harmony. Ethan realized, a Thaloryn ritual to honor energy. He stared, caught between fascination and unease. His own coffee sat untouched, measured to the gram, a stark contrast to her fluid gray stalk through the viewport. The auroras pulsed, their light catching a glint on Selene's necklace, a symbol, intricate and unfamiliar, like a star trapped in stone. Ethan's gut told him it meant trouble. Bigger trouble than a forced marriage. The station's lab buzzed with a low hum, holographic displays casting blue light across steel walls. Data streams flickered, mapping Thaloryn's glowing ecosystem trees that pulsed like heartbeats. Air thick with ionized dust, Ethan leaned over a console, his data glasses reflecting swirling charts. The scent of ozone clung to the air, sharp and electric, mixing with the faint burn of his coffee, now cold in its mug. His fingers tapped the screen, chasing answers about the girl, Lyra, and that strange surge in his hyperlink gene. Still nothing. A voice asked, bright but edged with impatience. Minna, station's physicist, stood nearby, her short hair tucked behind one ear. Her jumpsuit was smudged with coolant, hands busy calibrating a sensor wand. Ethan shook his head, voice low. Her scans are clean, but Oracle keeps flagging that biocode. It's like she's wired to something bigger. He glanced at Lyra, perched on a stool across the room. Her silver fingers traced patterns on a tablet, each stroke leaving a fleeting glow. Her sapphire eyes flicked to him, quiet but piercing, as if she knew more than she let on. Minna stepped closer, lowering her voice. I've been digging into Thaloryn's energy spikes. Ever heard of the Nebula field? She tapped her wand, pulling up a holomodular web of light pulsing like a living thing. It's a quantum phenomenon, amplifies emotions, ties them to physical effects. Think tech that feels your fear, your love, and turns it into power. Ethan's brow furrowed, his scientist's mind racing. That's what sparked my hyperlink. With her? He asked, nodding toward Lyra. His nose still ached from the last bleed, a reminder of his gene's limits. 10 minutes of use before his brain paid the price. Not just her, Minna said, her eyes narrowing. Selene, too. Your biocode, those enzymes Oracle calls living programs. It's sensing with their energy. You're a walking interface, Ethan, a human bridge to Thaloryn tech. She paused, grinning faintly. Pretty badass, if you ask me. He snorted, the sound rough in his throat. Badass until it fries me. He turned back to the console, but his thoughts churned. A bridge. That explained the sparks, the pain, but not why Selene's touch had hit him hardest. Footsteps echoed, sharp and deliberate. Selene entered, her robe shimmering under the lab's glow. Its soft hum filling the space, her rural harmony, Ethan guessed. Like a song only Thaloryn ears could hear. Her violet eyes scanned the room, lingering on Lyra before settling on him. "You're teaching her your games," she said, her tone cool, almost accusing. "Jess, is it?" Ethan met her gaze, unfazed. "Keeps her calm," he replied, folding his arms. "Logic grounds her. You should try it sometime, instead of all this harmony stuff." His words carried a bite, his earth-born skepticism clashing with her ritualistic air. Selene's lips tightened. "Logic strips away her roots," she said. Stepping closer, the air seemed to hum louder, vibrating in Ethan's chest. "Thaloryn lives through connection, not calculation." "Connection?" Ethan shot back, his voice dry, like forcing a marriage pact on a stranger. He regretted the jab instantly. Her eyes flickered, not with anger, but something softer, like doubt. Before she could respond, a panel sparked behind them, its screen glitching wildly. Ethan moved fast, his reflexes sharp from years he kept buried. He yanked a cable free, the sparks dying with a hiss. "Damn it," he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. "This place is falling apart." Selene watched, her expression unreadable. "We fix it," she said, her voice steady. Together, she knelt beside him, her fingers deft as she rerouted wires, her robes blending with station's pulse. Their hands brushed, and Ethan braced for the hyperlink's sting. But it didn't come. Instead, a faint warmth lingered, unsettling. In its calm, they worked in silence, the tension easing into a fragile rhythm. Lyra slipped off her stool, padding over to watch, her tablet clutched tight. She tapped Ethan's arm, pointing to a glowing symbol she'd drawn, a spiral, sharp and unfamiliar. "It moves," she whispered, her first words since the wreck, soft as a breeze. Ethan froze, his pulse quickening. The symbol matched nothing in Oracle's database. He exchanged a look with Selene, her violet eyes wide with something like fear. Before he could ask, Oracle 7's voice cut through, cold and urgent. "Alert, encrypted signal detected, source unknown, origin within station perimeter." The lab's lights dimmed, the whole model flickering out. Through the viewport, Thaloryn's roars twisted violently, their emerald glow pulsing like a warning. Ethan's hand went to his pulse knife, his soldier's instincts flaring. Someone or something was already here. The station shook as Thaloryn's storm roared outside, a relentless howl that rattled the steel walls. Dust swirled beyond the viewport, glowing faintly, like embers caught in a gale. Inside, the lab's lights flickered, casting jagged shadows. Across consoles still sparking from the glitch, Ethan's pulse raced, his hand gripping the pulse knife at his hip. The air smelled of burnt wiring, sharp and acrid, stinging his throat. Oracle 7's warning echoed in his mind-encrypted signal. Inside the perimeter. "To close." "Lock it down," Ethan barked, his voice taut. He moved to a control panel, fingers flying over the holo keys. The station's defenses whirred to life, shutters slamming shut with a metallic clang. Selene stood by Lyra, her violet eyes scanning the room, her robe's soft humoral harmony. Ethan now knew felt out of place in the chaos. "Your machines won't help," she said, her tone low, steady. "This is no Storm's doing." Ethan shot her a look, his jaw tight. "You know something, don't you?" he said, not hiding the edge in his voice. Her silence only sharpened his unease. Lyra clung to Selene's side, her sapphire eyes wide, clutching her tablet like a shield. The spiral she'd drawn glowed faintly on the screen, pulsing in time. With the station's faltering lights, a screech tore through the air, not the wind, but something mechanical, piercing. Ethan spun toward the sound, knife humming as he raised it. The lab's far wall buckled inward, metal groaning under unseen force. Then it burst open, shards flying like shrapnel. A shape emerged from the dust, a sleek, spider-like drone, its legs clicking on the floor, red optics glowing like twin coals. "Get back," Ethan shouted, shoving Lyra behind a console. His heart pounded, old instincts kicking in, ones he'd buried after leaving the service. The drone lunged, one claw slashing the air where he'd stood a second ago. He dove, rolling, to his feet, and activated his hyperlink gene. Pain stabbed his temples, his eyes flashing silver. Data flooded his mind, drone specs, weak points, a faint trace of something else. Like a digital venom. "It's not autonomous," Ethan growled, dodging another strike. His vision blurred, blood trickling from his nose. Someone's pulling its strings. The hyperlink was burning through his 10-minute limit. Fast. He pushed harder, hacking its systems, rerouting its servos. The drone froze mid-strike, legs twitching, then collapsed in a heap of sparks. Selene stepped forward, her sword energy edged, glowing blue slicing through a second drone he hadn't seen. Its halves clattered to the floor, spitting static. "Impressive," she said, her voice calm, but her eyes held a flicker of respect. For a human. Ethan wiped the blood from his face, breathing hard. "Save the compliments," he muttered. "We're not done." He knelt by the wrecked drone, his data glasses scanning its core. A signature blinked on the screen. Corin. Thalax. The name hit like a jolt. "Who's Corin?" he demanded, turning to Selene. Her face tightened, a shadow crossing her features. "He was my father's ally," she said, her words slow, heavy. "A scientist, like you. He wanted to harness the Nebula field, bend it to his will. When my father refused, Corin betrayed him, betrayed us all." Her voice wavered, just for a moment, before steel returned. "He's hunting Lyra now, for what she carries." The station's lab lay quiet now, its air heavy with the tang of scorched metal. Flickering lights cast long shadows, dancing across the wreckage of the drones. Ethan stood by a cracked console, his pulse knife still warm in his hand. Its faint hum a steady comfort. The viewport framed Thaloryn's roars, their emerald ribbons twisting wildly, like a warning whispered in light. His nose ached, crusted with dried blood from the hyperlink's strain, and his head throbbed with questions. Corin, Lyra, that cloaked shape in the storm. Selene knelt beside Lyra, her robe pooling like liquid starlight on the floor. Her violet eyes softened as she brushed a strand of pale hair from the girl's face. Lyra clutched her tablet, its glowing spiral dim now, but her sapphire gaze darted to Ethan, sharp and searching. The station's hum felt wrong, too loud, vibrating in his chest like a pulse not his own. "We can't stay here," Ethan said, his voice low, clipped. He wiped sweat from his brow, the air too warm despite the storm's chill outside. "Corin's got eyes on us. That signal it's him, isn't it?" Selene rose, her aural harmony a faint buzz, barely audible. "Yes," she said, her tone heavy, like stone sinking in water. "But it's not just Corin." She hesitated, her fingers tightening around an unseen weight. "Lyra is more than my daughter." Ethan's eyes narrowed, his soldier's instincts flaring. "More?" he echoed, stepping closer. "You drop a marriage pact on me. Now this. Spill it, Selene. What's she carrying?" Her gaze met his, unyielding, but cracked with something rough here. Maybe, or guilt. "She carries the Starveil," she said, each word deliberate, a quantum lattice, older than Alpha's throne. "It bends dark energy, reshapes galaxies, but misuse it, and it tears space apart. Black holes, rifts, entire systems gone." Her voice dropped, barely a whisper. Corin wants it. To control everything. Ethan's breath caught. His scientist's mind racing. A weapon? He asked, glancing at Lyra. The girl looked so small, curled against a console. Yet her eyes held a weight no child should bear. Not a weapon, Selene corrected, her tone sharp. A legacy. Only Alpha's blood can wield it. Lyra is the last. She turned away, her robes faltering, like a song losing its note. I'm her mother, yes, but I'm also the last princess of Alpha. Corin betrayed my father to claim the Starveil. Now he hunts her. The words hit Ethan like a shockwave. Princess, betrayal, Starveil. He rubbed his temples, the hyperlink's afterburn pulsing faintly. So I'm stuck in a royal mess, he muttered, his dry humorous shield against the chaos. And you didn't think to mention this before the hand-holding. Selene's lips twitched. Almost a smile. You wouldn't have believed me, she said, her voice softer now. You still don't trust fate, do you? Fate, Ethan snorted, leaning against the console. Its surface was cool, grounding. I trust what I can measure, like the crash that took my family. No destiny, they're just bad math. His words hung heavy, a truth he rarely spoke. He looked at Lyra, her silence louder than any answer. She's not a pawn in your prophecy, Selene. She's a kid. Then help me save her, Selene said, stepping closer. Her eyes burned, fierce, pleading. The Nebula Concord ritual can bind the Starveil. Keep it dormant. But it needs us both, your hyperlink, my bloodline. Ethan opened his mouth to argue, but Lyra moved first. She slid off a stool, padding to his side, her tablet glowing anew. Her small hand tapped the screen, and the spiral symbol flared, sharp lines twisting into a pattern Oracle 7 hadn't flagged before a lattice, like the Starveil Selene described. The station's lights pulsed in sync, a low rumble shaking the floor. Oracle, analyze that, Ethan ordered, his voice tight. The AI's response was instant, cold. Pattern matches quantum signature, Starveil fragment. Warning, external. Signal spike, source, approaching. Lyra's eyes widened, her silver skin shimmering faintly. She grabbed Ethan's hand, her grip surprisingly strong. He's coming, she whispered, her voice a fragile thread. The man with red eyes. Ethan's blood ran cold. Corin. He turned to Selene, his knife humming louder. You're old. Friends not waiting, he said, his tone hard. What's the plan, princess? Selene drew her energy sword, its blue glow cutting the dark. We go to Alfarian, she said. Resolute. Face him where the Starveil was born. Before Ethan could reply, a new sound pierced the station, a distant clang, like metal striking. Metal, followed by a low, mechanical whine. The viewport's roarers flared, their light bending into a shape, clearer now, a ship, cloaked no longer, its hull glinting like a predator's teeth. Corin's hologram flickered on a nearby screen, his voice cold as ice. You can't hide her forever, Selene. The forest of Thaloryn glowed under a sky of writhing auroras, their emerald light filtering through trees that pulsed like living lanterns. Ethan trudged down a narrow path, his boots sinking into soft, luminescent moss. The air carried a sweet, resinous scent, undercut by the faint ozone of storm-charged dust. His pulse knife hummed at his hip, its weight a steady anchor, but his head still ached from the hyperlink's last surge. Lyra walked beside him, her silver skin catching the glow, her small hand brushing his glove as if seeking reassurance. Selene led the way, her robe shimmering, its auroral harmony a low buzz that seemed to sync with the forest's rhythm. Her violet eyes scanned the shadows, her energy sword sheathed but ready. The station's breach Corin's drones. His chilling hologram had forced them here, to an ancient Alpha temple buried in the wilds. Ethan's gut churned with doubt. A ritual to save Lyra. It sounded like mysticism, not science. And he trusted equations over faith. The path opened to a clearing, where a temple rose from the earth, its spires carved from crystal that refracted the auroras into prisms of green and gold. The air vibrated, not just with Selene's harmony, but something deeper, like a heartbeat woven into reality. Ethan's dated glasses flickered, unable to pass the energy. "This place," he muttered, his voice low, rough. "It's alive." "The Nebula Concord ritual begins here," Selene said, her tone solemn, like a vow. She stepped onto a platform etched with spirals patterns, like Lyra's drawings. "The Nebula field binds us your hyperlink, my bloodline, Lyra the Starveil. Together, we can seal it, keep her safe." Ethan folded his arms, his jaw tight. "Seal it how?" he asked, skepticism sharp in his voice. "You're asking me to plug my brain into something that could rip space apart. I need specifics, not poetry." Selene's eyes flashed, but she held his gaze. "You want truth," she said, her words steady, cutting. "The Starveil is unstable. Without this, it'll consume her or worse, open a rift Corrin can exploit. Your hyperlink grounds it, channels its chaos. I guide the field. Lyra carries the key." Lyra tugged Ethan's sleeve, her sapphire eyes wide but calm. "It's okay," she whispered, her voice soft as a breeze. "I see it, like a door." Her words sent a chill down his spine. Too certain for a child, Ethan exhaled, rubbing his neck. The ache in his head pulsed, a warning of his gene's limits 10 minutes before damage set in. "Fine," he said, his tone gruff but resigned. "But if this goes south, I'm pulling us out." They stepped onto the platform, the crystal warm beneath their boots. Selene raised her hands, and the air shimmered, the nebula field awakening. Ethan shut off his hyperlink, wary of Corrin's malware, and focused inward, using an old Earth. Trick slow breaths, counting beats, like his mother taught him before the crash took her. The world faded, replaced by a hum that wasn't sound but feeling, heavy and vast. Memories bled through, not his alone. He saw Alpha's 4 cities of crystal crumbling, Selene's father standing defiant as Corrin turned away. Her pain hit him, raw, like a wound unhealed. Then Selene's voice, not spoken, but felt, brushed his mind. "You've lost, too," she said, and he saw his own past flames, wreckage. His sister's hand slipping from his. Ethan flinched, his breath catching. But the connection held. Selene's strength, her resolve, anchored him. The platform glowed brighter, spirals swirling like galaxies. Ethan's hyperlink flickered on, unbidden, his eyes flashing silver. No pain this time, only clarity data streams weaving with the nebula field, stable, alive. He saw it, Starveil, a lattice of light, pulsing in Lyra's core. And something else a trace, ancient, tying Earth to Alpha, long before humans touched the stars. His ancestors, their tech, their will, echoed in his gene. Lyra gasped, her voice breaking the trance. "The door's opening," she said, her silver skin blazing. The temple trembled, crystal spires singing a note that shook Ethan's bones. Selene grabbed his hand, her grip fierce, warm. "Stay with us," she urged, her melody softer now. Almost human dot, but the hum shifted, discordant. Oracle 7's voice crackled through Ethan's comm, urgent, distorted, alert, external breach. Signal matches Corrin Thalax, proximity, immediate. The auroras outside flared, their light twisting into a shadower ship, descending fast. Its engines a low growl. Ethan's knife hummed louder, his soldier's instincts screaming. The ritual had lit a beacon, and Corrin wasn't waiting for an invitation. The station's control room pulsed with red warning lights, their rhythmic flash painting Ethan's face in stark shadows. The air was thick, stale, heavy with the buzz of overworked consoles and the faint crackle of static beyond the viewport. Thaloryn's auroras churned violently, their emerald glow fractured by the silhouette of a sleek, predatory ship. Corrin's vessel, no longer cloaked. Ethan's pulse knife hummed in his grip, its vibration steady against the tremor in his chest. His head still buzzed from the temple ritual, the hyperlink's echo mingling with Selene's memories. Her loss now a weight he couldn't shake. Selene stood at his side, her energy sword drawn, its blue glow cutting through the dimness. Her robe's auroral harmony was silent now, her violet eyes locked on the holoscreen flickering to life. Lyra huddled behind the console, her silver skin faintly glowing, her tablet clutched tight. The spiral she'd drawn pulsed on its screen, mirroring the auroras outside, as if she were tethered to the storm itself. Oracle, lock the grid. Ethan snapped, his voice rough, urgent. His fingers danced over a panel, sealing bulkheads with a series of dull thuds. The station groaned under the storm's pressure, its steel frame creaking like a ship in rough seas. Grid secured, Oracle 7 replied, its tone flat but strained. External signal overriding. Source, Corin Thalax. Incoming transmission. The holoscreen flared, and Corin's image materialized a man of 50, his face sharp and weathered, a scar slicing across one gray eye. His black armor gleamed, studded with tech that hummed faintly, like a hive waking up. Selene, he said, his voice cold, precise, like a blade drawn slow. You've hidden her well, but the Starveil belongs to the galaxy, not your blood. Selene stepped forward, her sword steady. You betrayed my father, Corin, she said, her words fierce, each syllable a spark. You think I'll let you touch her? Ethan's eyes flicked between them, his soldier's instincts sizing. Corin up, so you're the guy sending drones to crash my day? He cut in, his tone dry, edged with defiance. What's your angle? Power, glory, or just a bad breakup with her dad? Corin's gaze shifted to Ethan, a glint of disdain in his scarred eye. You're the anomaly, he said, his voice low, probing. A human with a hyperlink gene, meddling in things you can't grasp. I studied the Starveil for decades. It can stabilize entire systems or burn them to ash. I choose stability. You're a variable I don't need. Ethan smirked, leaning casually against the console, though his grip on the knife tightened. Funny, he said, his drawl deliberate. I'm pretty good at breaking equations you think you've solved. His mind raced, piecing together Corin's game. Control the Starveil, control the galaxy. But at what cost? Selene's voice cut through, sharp. Your stability killed Alpha, she said, her eyes blazing. My father trusted you, Corin. He called you brother. Corin's face twitched, a crack in his steel facade. He was weak, he said, but the words lacked force, like an echo of old regret. He feared the Starveil's power. I don't. Ethan watched the exchange, his scientist's brain turning. Corin wasn't just a traitor, he was obsessed, driven by something deeper than greed. He opened his mouth to press further, but Lyra moved, silent as a shadow. She tapped her tablet, and the spiral symbol flared, brighter, sharper. The station's lights pulsed in response. A low hum rising, not mechanical, but alive. Oracle. What's she doing? Ethan asked, his voice tight. He knelt beside Lyra, her small frame trembling, but resolute. Her sapphire eyes met his, calm to calm. Neural surge detected, Oracle 7 warned, its voice glitching. Subject, Lyra, Starveil activity increasing. Risk of spatial distortion, critical. Lyra's whisper came, soft but clear. I can hold it, she said, her fingers tracing the spiral. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the floor. The walls, Ethan's bones. The holoscreen flickered, Corin's image warping as if pulled by an unseen force. Selene grabbed Ethan's arm, her touch warm, urgent. She's stabilizing it, she said. Her voice a mix of awe and fear. Your game's your logic, it's helping her. Ethan's chest tightened. Helping, sure. But at what cost? He looked at Lyra, her glow brighter, almost painful. Kid, you sure about this? He asked, his tone soft, grounding. Before she could answer, the station lurched. A bone-rattling jolt. Alarms screamed, red lights flashing faster. Outside, Corrin's ship loomed closer, its hull glinting like a blade. A new sound pierced the chaos, a metallic screech, like claws on steel, echoing from the lower decks. Corrin's voice cut through. The hollow, cold and final. Run all you want, Selene. The Starveil answers to me now. The shuttle's engines roared, a deep growl that shook Ethan's bones as it tore through Thaloryn's turbulent skies. Beyond the cockpit's viewport, roars twisted in violent emerald spirals, their light clashing with storm clouds that spat glowing dust. The air inside was sharp with recycled oxygen, tinged with the metallic tang of overheated circuits. Ethan gripped the co-pilot's yoke, his knuckles white, his data glasses flickering with nav charts. His pulse knife rested heavy at his hip, a reminder of the danger trailing them. Corrin's ship. Somewhere in the chaos, Selene sat beside him, her hands steady on the controls, her robe shimmering faintly under the console's glow. Her aural harmony was muted now, drowned by the shuttle's hum, but her violet eyes burned with focus. Lyra huddled in the rear, strapped into a jump seat, her silver skin catching the Aurora's light through a side port. Her tablet lay dark in her lap, but her sapphire eyes darted to the storm, as if she could see what they couldn't. Keep us low, Ethan said, his voice taut, cutting through the engine's drone. Corrin's got tech to track us in open sky. His head still throbbed from the station's breach. The hyperlink's faint buzz, a warning not to push it, not after Lyra's surge, had nearly fried the systems. Selene's jaw tightened, but she nodded, banking the shuttle into a canyon. Rocks glowed faintly below, their light swallowed by dust. Altharians close, she said, her tone clipped, urgent. The city's shields will hide us, for now. Ethan snorted, his dry humor surfacing. Shields? Hope they're better than our last hideout. He scanned the sensors, his scientist's mind passing data wine sheer. Magnetic spikes, no sign of pursuit. Yet his soldiers' gut screamed they weren't alone. The shuttle lurched, a sudden jolt that threw Ethan against his harness. Alarms blared, red lights flashing across the dash. What the hell? He started, but the sensors screamed, flagging a power drain. His data glasses lit up, showing a glitch in the propulsion core. It's failing, Selene said, her hands flying over the controls. Voice steady despite the chaos. The shuttle dipped, engines sputtering. The storms howl louder now, clawing at the hull. Ethan's hyperlink. Jean stirred, unbidden, a prickle in his skull. Don't do this to me now, he muttered, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. He closed his eyes, focusing, and let the gene connect. Pain lanced his temples, his eyes flashing silver. Data surged, core schematics, error codes, a bypass route. Blood trickled from his nose, warm and sharp. But he growled through it, rerouting. Power with a thought. The engines roared back, the shuttle leveling out. He slumped back, breathing hard, the pain fading to a dull ache. Got it, he said, wiping the blood away. 5 minutes, tops, before I'm out of juice. His limit 10 minutes loomed like a guillotine. Selene glanced at him, her eyes flickering with something neurospect. Maybe, or worry. You shouldn't push it, she said, her melody softer, almost human. Not yet. Tell that? To the storm, Ethan shot back, his tone dry but strained. He checked the sensors again, and his heart sank. A faint blip appeared, trailing them, too precise to be debris. We've got company, he said, voice low, urgent. Lyra's voice broke the tension, small but clear. "It's him," she said, staring at the side port. Her tablet flickered on, the spiral symbol pulsing faintly. Like a heartbeat, Ethan turned. Following her gaze, through the storm, a shape emerged. Corrin's ship, its hull glinting like a blade, closing fast. Oracle, evasive protocols. Ethan ordered, his comm crackling to life. The AI's voice was calm, clipped, protocols engaged. Warning, external signal detected. Pattern matches subject's tablet. Ethan spun to Lyra, his pulse racing. "Kid, what's on that thing?" he asked, his voice firm but kind. She didn't answer, her eyes locked on the symbol, her fingers trembling as they traced its lines. The shuttle's lights dimmed, consoles flickering. As if her tablet were pulling power or something worse, Selene's hand shot to her sword, her face pale. "She's linked to the Starveil," she said, her voice tight, urgent. "Corrin's using it to find us." Ethan's mind raced, piecing it together. Lyra's drawings, the surges. Corrin's hunt. He leaned toward her, his tone steady despite the alarms. "Lyra, you can stop it," he said, his words clear, grounding. Like chess, focus. One move at a time. Her eyes met his, a spark of resolve flickering. The tablet's glow faded, the console stabilizing. But outside, Corrin's ship loomed closer, its shadow swallowing the Aurora's light. A new signal blinked on Ethan's glasses, a pattern, intricate, like the one on Selene's necklace, pulsing from the enemy's hull. His gut twisted. That wasn't just tech. It was a message, and it wasn't meant for him. Eltharion rose from Thaloryn's glowing plains like a dream forged in light. Towers of crystal spiraled skyward, their facets catching the auroras and scattering them into rainbows that danced across floating walkways. The air thrummed with a low, melodic auroral harmony woven into the city itself, a chorus of unseen voices. Ethan stepped off the shuttle, his boots ringing on a translucent platform, the surface cool and smooth beneath him. The scent of blooming vines, sharp and sweet, curled through the breeze, masking the faint ozone of advanced tech. Selene led the way, her robe shimmering as if woven from the city's glow. Her violet eyes scanned the bustling streets below, silver-skinned. Eltharions moving in graceful sync, their harmony a living pulse. Lyra trailed close, her sapphire eyes wide, her tablet tucked under one arm. Her silver skin blended with the city's sheen, but her small hand gripped Ethan's sleeve, grounding herself against the strangeness. "This place," Ethan muttered, his voice low, rough with awe. "It's like walking inside a star." His data glasses flickered, struggling to map the city's energy grid. The hum pressed against his chest, not sound but sensation, alien and overwhelming. He couldn't hear their harmony, and the silence in his mind felt like a wall between worlds. "Eltharion is our heart," Selene said, her tone soft but proud. She gestured to a tower crowned with pulsing light. "The Starveil was born there, in the crystal vault. It's where we'll end this." Ethan's jaw tightened, his soldier's instincts wary. "End it," he echoed, his drawl skeptical. "Corrin's on our tail." And Lyra's tablet just lit up his radar. "We need a plan, not a tour." Selene's eyes flashed, but she nodded, leading them into a domed chamber within the tower. The walls glowed, etched with spirals that mirrored Lyra's drawings. Their light warm against Ethan's skin. Consoles hummed softly, their tech ancient, yet alive, like the temple they'd left behind. The air was cooler here, carrying a faint metallic tang, grounding him amidst the ethereal. He knelt by a console, his fingers tracing its smooth surface. "Oracle, run a biocode scan," he said, his comm crackling. His hyperlink gene stirred, a faint prickle, but he held it back. "No blood today." "Not yet," the AI's voice replied, calm, precise, scan complete. Your biocode aligns with Starveil's matrix. Roll amplifier. Limit 10 minutes active connection. Amplifier. Ethan repeated, his tone dry, almost bitter. So, I'm a glorified battery. He stood, meeting Selene's gaze. What's your part in this, princess? And hers. He nodded toward Lyra, who stood by a wall, her fingers brushing a glowing spiral. Selene's voice was steady, resolute. I guide the Nebula field, she said, stepping closer. Lyra is the key her blood binds this Starveil. Together, we activate it, seal its power from Corin. Her eyes softened, a flicker of fear breaking through. But you could burn out, Ethan. Your gene, it's not meant for this. He smirked, hiding the unease twisting his gut. Burn out, he said, his voice light but strained. I've had worse job offers. His mind raced 10 minutes. Brain damage, Corin. Closing in. He needed logic, not harmony, to keep them alive. Lyra's voice cut through, small but clear. I can help, she said, stepping forward. Her tablet glowed, the spiral now a map, a lattice of stars, pulsing faintly. Ethan's glasses flagged it, a galactic nexus, a gate older than Alpha. It's here, she whispered, pointing to the vault's heart. The door. Ethan knelt beside her, his tone gentle, steady. A door. He said, studying the map. Like in chess, kid. We plan the move, not just jump. Her eyes met his, a spark of trust flickering, and he felt a pang. Her faith was heavier than any tech. Selene drew her sword, its blue hum sharp in the quiet. We prepare now, she said, her melody firm. Corin won't wait. She turned to Ethan, her gaze piercing. Will you stand with us? He nodded, his knife humming in reply. I'm in, he said, his voice low, resolute. But we do this smart, not just shiny. A sudden tremor shook the chamber, the spirals dimming as a low wail echoed outside. Oracle's voice crackled, urgent. Alert, proximity breach, signal, Corin Thalax. Location, city perimeter. Ethan's heart sank. He glanced at Lyra, her tablet flaring brighter. The Nexus map pulsing wildly. Through a crystal pane, the auroras twisted, framing a shadow Corin ship, descending like a storm of its own. A new signal blinked on Ethan's glasses, intricate, like Selene's necklace, but darker, colder. It wasn't just a ship. It was a promise of war. The crystal vault beneath Altherion's towers glowed with an eerie light, its walls pulsing like a heartbeat carved in stone. Spirals of crystal wound across the chamber, their facets scattering auroral greens and golds into a kaleidoscope that stung Ethan's eyes. The air was cool, heavy with the metallic tang of ancient tech and the faint sweetness of blooming vines. Seeping through unseen cracks, his boots echoed on the polished floor, each step a reminder of the weight pressing down Corin's ship. Circling above, its shadow a blade over the city. Ethan's pulse knife hummed at his hip, its vibration steady against the tremor in his hands. His data glasses flickered, mapping the vault's energy grid, but the readings glitched. Overwhelmed by the Starveil's pulse, his head throbbed. The hyperlink genes echo a faint warning. 10 minutes, no more, before his brain paid the price. Selene moved ahead, her robe shimmering, her energy sword sheathed but ready. Her violet eyes scanned the shadows, her auroral harmony a low buzz, nearly lost in the vault's hum. Lyra clung to Ethan's side, her silver skin glowing faintly, her tablet clutched tight. Her sapphire eyes darted to the spirals, as if they whispered secrets only she could hear. It's here, she said, her voice soft but certain, like a note struck true. The door. Ethan knelt beside her, his tone gentle, grounding. Easy, kid, he said, his drawl masking the tension coiling in his gut. We'll find it, one move at a time. He glanced at Selene, her face pale but resolute. "This vault house it keep Corin out." "It doesn't," Selene replied, her words sharp, urgent. She gestured to a central dais, where a crystal lattice glowed, its light pulsing like a trapped star. "The Starveil's here. We activate it. Seal it to Lyra's blood. Corin can't touch it then." Ethan's jaw tightened, his scientist's mind racing. "And if he's already inside?" he asked, his voice low, edged with doubt. The signal from Corin's ship matching Selene's necklace gnawed at him, a puzzle he couldn't solve. His glasses pinged, flagging a new anomaly. Faint malware traces, like digital venom, threading through the vault's systems. His hyperlink stirred, unbidden, pain spiking his temples. He shut it down, cursing under his breath. "No blood, not yet. Oracle, scan for breaches," he ordered, his comm crackling. The AI's voice was clipped, strained. "Malware detected. Source, internal network. Pattern matches Corin Thalax. Containment failing." Ethan's heart sank. "He's here," he muttered, his soldier's instincts screaming. He turned to Selene, his knife humming louder. "Your old friend's playing dirty. This place is compromised." Selene's eyes widened, but she nodded, drawing her sword. Its blue glow cut the dimness, sharp and fierce. "We hold the vault," she said, her melody steady despite the fear flickering in her gaze. "No matter the cost." Before Ethan could argue, the chamber shook, a low rumble that sent dust cascading from the ceiling. The spirals dimmed, their light stuttering like a failing pulse. Then it came a screech, metallic and piercing, echoing from the vault's lower tunnels. Shadows moved, fast, too precise for drones. Ethan's glasses flagged them, autonomous sentinels, their red optics glowing like embers, claws glinting in the crystal sheen. "Get behind me," Ethan shouted, shoving Lyra toward the dais. His knife flared, its edge crackling as he met the first sentinel's charge. Metal sparked against metal, the impact jarring his arm. He ducked a claw, slashing its core, and the machine crumpled, spitting static. Selene fought beside him, her sword a blur, slicing through another with surgical grace. Their rhythm sensed, human grit and alpha precision. But more sentinels poured in, relentless. "Lyra, stay down," Selene called, her voice taut, slicing through the chaos. The girl crouched by the dais, her tablet glowing brighter, the spiral map now a lattice of stars. Ethan glanced back, his breath catching, her silver skin blazed, her eyes fixed on the crystal lattice, unblinking. "She's doing something," Ethan growled, dodging a sentinel swipe. Pain lanced his side, a shallow cut, warm blood seeping through his jacket. He pushed through, his hyperlink sparking despite his will. Data flashed, sentinel codes, malware threads, and something deeper, tied to Lyra. His eyes glowed silver, blood trickling from his nose. But he saw it, the Starveil, waking. Lyra's voice rose, small but fierce. "I can stop them," she said, her fingers dancing over the tablet. The hum in the vault shifted, no longer chaotic but focused, like a song finding its key. She wove a rural harmony, raw, untrained, into the spiral, and a pulse erupted, sharp and bright. One sentinel froze, its optics dimming, then collapsed, its frame shuddering as if struck by lightning. Ethan stared, his heart pounding. "Kid, how do you?" he started. But Selene grabbed his arm, her grip tight, warm. "She's merging your logic with our field," she said, her eyes wide. "Odd, she's stronger than I thought." The chamber trembled again, hotter now, crystal cracking above. A hollow screen flickered on, unbidden, and Corin's face appeared, his scarred eye glinting with cold triumph. "Clever girl," he said, his voice a blade through the hum. "But the Nexus is mine. You've only opened the path." Ethan's blood ran cold. Nexus, the gate Lyra's map had shown. He spun to the dais, where the lattice blazed, its light bending space itself, a shimmer. Like a door half-formed, Lyra's tablet pulsed in sync, her glow almost blinding. "She's unlocking it," he said, his voice tight, urgent. "Corin's using her." Selene's sword flared, her face pale but fierce. "We stop him here," she said, her melody a vow. Together, Ethan nodded, wiping blood from his face. His knife steady despite the pain. He moved to Lyra, kneeling close, his tone calm, rounding. "You're doing great, kid," he said, his words clear, steady. "But we need to shut this down. One move, like chess." Lyra's eyes met his, a spark of resolve flickering. The sentinels slowed, their movements jerky, as her harmony grew stronger. But the vault's hum turned discordant, a low wail rising. Above, the auroras visible through a crystal skylight twisted violently, framing Corin's ship, now hovering directly over the city. A new signal pulsed through Ethan's glasses, malware, stronger, aimed at his hyperlink, like a noose tightening. Oracle's voice crackled, faint, distorted, warning. Spatial distortion imminent. Starveil activation, uncontrolled. Ethan's heart raced, his mind splitting. Save Lyra. Stop Corin. Survive the vault. The lattice's light flared, the Nexus shimmering clearer. A gate to stars unknown, and in its glow, Lyra stood, her small frame unyielding, her voice a whisper that cut the chaos. "I see them," she said, her eyes distant, fixed on something beyond the vault, beyond Thaloryn. The crystal vault's throne room shimmered like a frozen galaxy, its towering walls of faceted stone refracting Thaloryn's auroras into a storm of green and gold. The air crackled with energy, thick with the metallic tang of overheating tech, and the faint sweetness of crushed vines from the battle's chaos. Ethan stood at the room's heart, his pulse knife humming, its vibration a lifeline against the pain searing his side. Blood soaked his jacket from the sentinel's cut, and his nose bled freely now, the hyperlink gene pushing past its limits. His data glasses flickered, barely holding a signal amidst the Starveil's pulse. Selene fought beside him, her energy soared a blazing arc, its blue glow carving shadows from the light. Her robe was torn, her violet eyes fierce with a fire that matched the auroras above. Lyra stood near the throne, a crystal daze pulsing like a star, her silver skin radiant, her tablet blazing with the galactic Nexus map. The spiral lattice spun, a door to unknown stars half-formed, its shimmer warping the air. Her sapphire eyes were distant, locked on the Nexus, but her small frame trembled under its weight. "Corin's here," Ethan growled, his voice rough, strained. His glasses flagged a new signal malware, vicious, clawing at his hyperlink like a beast. Pain lanced his temples, his eyes flashing silver, but he held steady, scanning the vault's upper tiers. The throne room's skylight framed Corin's ship, a dark predator hovering in the auroral storm, its hull glinting like a drawn blade. Selene's sword flashed, her tone sharp, unyielding. "He won't take her," she said, stepping closer. "To Lyra, not while I breathe." Her auroral harmony surged, a low hum that wove into the vault's pulse, steadying its chaos. But her eyes flicked to Ethan, a flicker of fear breaking through. "Your gene, it's killing you." Ethan wiped blood from his face, his smirk defiant despite the ache. "Not yet," he said, his drawl tight, forced, his mind churned. Specialist or scientist, the urge to end Corin clashed with the need to understand, to save Lyra without breaking her. He pushed the thought aside, focusing on the days. "Kid, you holding up?" Lyra's voice came, small but fierce. "I can do it," she said, her fingers dancing over the tablet. The Nexus map flared, its lattice tightening, but the vault shook harder, crystal cracking above. She froze, her glow dimming, as if the Starveil's weight was too much. Ethan's chest tightened. Logic, his gift to her, wasn't enough. Then she moved, not to the tablet, but the daze itself. Her hands pressed against the crystal, and a new hum rose, not just auroral harmony, but something raw, unique. She wove Ethan's chess logic into her melody, a pattern of moves and notes, precise yet alive. The Nexus stabilized, its shimmer softening, no longer a threat but a bridge. The vault's chaos eased, the lattice glowing steady, like a star held in balance. Ethan stared, his breath catching. "How'd you?" he started, but pain cut him off, his hyperlink sparking unbidden. His vision blurred, blood dripping faster, staining the floor. He staggered, catching himself on the daze, its surface warm, pulsing. Lyra's eyes met his, a spark of pride flickering. "You showed me," she whispered, her voice a lifeline. Selene's sword lowered, her face awed. "She's merging us," she said, her melody soft, reverent. "Your mind, my field, her heart." She stepped closer, her hand brushing Ethan's arm, warm, grounding. "Stay with us." A metallic clang shattered the moment, the throne room's doors bursting open. Corran strode in, his black armor gleaming, a pulse rifle humming in his hands, his scarred eye locked on Lyra, cold, unyielding. "You've done well, child," he said, his voice a low rasp, like steel on stone. "The Nexus is open. Now step aside." Ethan's knife flared, his body moving before his mind caught up. "Not happening," he snapped, stepping between Corran and Lyra. Pain screamed through him, but he stood firm, his soldier's instincts overriding the scientist's doubt. "You want her? You go through me." Selene raised her sword, her stance mirroring his. "And me," she said, her eyes blazing. She glanced at Corran, her voice softening, heavy with memory. "My father believed in you, Corran. He called you family." "Why?" Corran's face twitched, a crack in his armor. "He was blind," he said, but his tone wavered, raw. "He saw limits where I saw salvation. The Starveil can save galaxies or end them. I chose order." He raised his rifle, but his hand trembled. "Just for a moment. Step aside, Selene." "I don't want to kill you." Ethan's hyperlink surged, malware biting deeper, his eyes glowing brighter. He saw Corran's armor, laced with tech tied to the Nexus. He hacked it, fingers twitching, rerouting its power. Sparks flew, Corran's rifle faltering, but the effort cost Ethan. Blood poured from his nose, his vision darkening, the 10-minute limit a noose. Lyra's hum spiked, a sudden crescendo. She pressed her tablet to the daze, her harmony weaving tighter, stronger. The Nexus flared, its light solidifying a gate, open, connecting Thaloryn to distant stars. The vault steadied, cracks halting, as her melody held the Starveil in check. "I won't let you," she said, her voice clear, defiant, no longer a child's. Corran stumbled, his armor sparking, his scarred eye wide. "You," he rasped, staring at Lyra. "You're like him, like your grandfather." His rifle clattered to the floor, his shoulders sagging. "I was wrong," he said, his voice breaking, a confession torn free. "I betrayed him, for nothing." Ethan swayed, his knife still raised, but Selene's hand steadied him, her touch warm, fierce. "It's over," she said, her eyes on Corran, not with hate, but pity. "Face your judgment." Corran knelt, his head bowed, the fight gone. "Let Altharion decide," he said, his voice hollow, lost. The Nexus glowed behind him, its gate stable, a bridge to Earth and beyond. Lyra stepped back, her glow fading, her small frame exhausted but unbowed. She looked at Ethan, a faint smile breaking through, and he nodded, his chest tight with pride. But the throne room some shifted, a new note rising, faint but sharp. Ethan's glasses blinked a signal, not Corran's, from the Nexus itself, a pattern. 3 spiraled rings pulsed through the gate, alien, ancient, alive. Oracle's voice crackled, faint, urgent. "Warning, external signature detected. Origin, unknown." Ethan's blood ran cold, his knife steady despite the pain. The gate was open, but something or someone was already waiting on the other side. Altharion's royal balcony hung like a shard of crystal above the city, its edge kissed by Thaloryn's auroras. Their emerald ribbons wove through a sky of endless stars. casting a soft glow over the spires below, where lights pulsed in harmony with the city's living hum. Ethan stood at the railing, his jacket stained with dried blood, the ache in his side a dull reminder of the vault's battle. The air was crisp, carrying the sweet tang of blooming vines, and the faint ozone of cooling tech. His pulse knife rested, silent at his hip, its hum no longer needed for now. Selene stood beside him, her robe mended, shimmering under the auroral light. Her violet eyes held a quiet strength, her auroral harmony a gentle buzz, blending with the city's song. Lyra sat cross-legged nearby, her silver skin glowing faintly, her tablet dark, but her sapphire eyes bright, tracing the stars. The Galactic Nexus loomed behind them, a shimmering gate suspended in the air, its lattice of light stable, connecting Thaloryn to distant worlds Earth among them. The throne room's chaos was gone, Corrin's surrender a weight lifted, but the new Signal 3 spiraled rings lingered in Ethan's mind, a whisper of something vast. He rubbed his temples, the hyperlink genes echo faint, but persistent. 10 minutes, his limit, had nearly broken him in the vault. Blood still crusted his nose, a badge of survival. But the pain was worth it. Lyra was safe, the Starveil sealed. Someday, he muttered, his voice low, rough with exhaustion. His data glasses sat folded in his pocket. Their last reading burned into his memory. Unknown signature, origin beyond the Nexus. Selene turned to him, her melody softer now, almost human. "You stayed," she said, her words carrying a warmth that caught him off guard. "You could have run back to Earth, your logic, your life. Why didn't you?" Ethan smirked, leaning against the railing, its crystal cool under his hands. "Logic's overrated," he said, his drawl light but honest. "Kid needed me. You needed me. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell." His eyes flicked to Lyra, her small smile a spark in the dark. Couldn't let her face that alone. Lyra looked up, her voice clear, steady. "You taught me to think," she said, standing to join them. Her steps were sure, no longer trembling, like chess, but I felt it, to the harmony. She touched her chest, where the Starveil rested, dormant but alive. "It's both, Earth and Alpha." Ethan's chest tightened, pride mingling with something deeper, a bond he hadn't expected. "You're something else, kid," he said, his tone gentle, grounding. He ruffled her hair, her glow flickering under his touch, and she laughed, a sound like bells in the quiet. Selene's gaze softened, her hand brushing Ethan's arm. Warm, fleeting. "You're both part of us now," she said, her eyes on the Nexus. Altharian rises again, not just for Thaloryn, but for all worlds. She stepped forward, her robe catching the light as she addressed the city below, her voice carrying like a song. "I claim the throne, not to rule, but to bridge past to future. Star to star." The city answered, its hum swelling, a chorus of light and sound that shook the balcony. Ethan felt it, not as harmony, but as pressure, a promise of change. His scientist's mind passed it, energy grids aligning, Nexus stable, Altharian waking. His soldier's gut, though, stayed wary. Corrin was gone, bound for trial, but the Nexus's signal wasn't his. He turned to the gate, its shimmer a silent call. "That pattern," he said, his voice low, urgent. 3 rings, spiraled. "It's not random." He slipped on his glasses, their lenses flickering with faint data Starveil fragments. "Alien. Code." A message embedded deep. Oracle 7's voice crackled through his calm, but edged. "Analysis incomplete. Signature predates Alpha. Linguistic fragment detected. We have waited." Ethan's blood ran cold, his grip tightening. On the railing. "Waited," he echoed, his drawl gone, replaced by steel. He glanced at Selene, her face pale, her eyes fixed on the Nexus. "Something's out there. Not Corrin, not us. Lyra stepped closer, her tablet sparking to life, unbidden. The three-ringed symbol pulsed on its screen, sharp, alive, like eyes watching from the void. I saw them, she whispered, her voice distant, echoing her words in the vault. In the door, they're old, older than here. Her glow flared, then steadied, her resolve a mirror of Ethan's own. Selene's hand found hers, her melody, firm, anchoring. We'll face them, she said, her eyes meeting Ethan's, a silent pact. Together, Altharian, Earth any world that joins us. Her voice carried a queen's weight, but her gaze held a mother's fear, a partner's trust. Ethan nodded, his knife a quiet weight, his hyperlink a dormant spark. Got a gate to watch, he said, his smirk returning, faint but real, and a kid to teach chess. He looked at Lyra, her smile brighter now, a bridge between their worlds. We're not just breaking curses, are we? He said, his voice low, resolute. We're writing the future. The Nexus pulsed, its light steady, a beacon to stars unknown. Below, Altharian sang, its towers gleaming, a city reborn. But the signal lingered, its three rings a shadow in the glow. Oracle's voice broke the quiet, faint, persistent signal, strength increasing, contact imminent. Ethan's heart raced, his eyes on the gate. The auroras twisted above, their light framing the Nexus like a crown or a warning. Lyra squeezed his hand, her glow warm, her voice a spark in the dark. They're coming, she said, not afraid, but certain. Selene drew her sword. It's blue. Hum a quiet vow. Let them come, she said, her melody rising, fierce, unbroken. Ethan's knife hummed in reply, his mind clear despite the ache. Earth's logic, Alpha's harmony. Lyra's heart they'd forged a family, a future, a fight. The Nexus waited, its stars calling, and whatever stepped through, they'd meet it standing tall. The auroras flared, a final pulse, and the three-ringed signal sang a note from beyond, ancient, alive, and close. Ethan took a breath, his voice steady, a promise to the void. We're ready.